saw a porcupine bear.
That really looks like a monkey.
I know.
Oh, there he goes.
Countless wilderness encounters share the same chilling traits, sudden isolation, and a towering shadowy presence. From massive 19-inch footprints discovered deep in the Utah forest to the eerie, echoing Ohio howl recorded in the dead of night. Are these just tricks of the eye, or is something legendary truly hiding out there? In late 2009, a group of hikers in Maine captured footage of a strange animal perched high in a tree.
I know. I see an ape.
Yeah, it does look like a monkey. We'll have good video, Karen.
Can't believe we saw a porcupine bear.
That really looks like a monkey.
I know.
That looks like a freaking monkey. I think it's a snow monkey. No, you can come this way.
From the ground, its shape looked unusual, its dark fur and posture giving it an almost primate-like appearance. Confused and intrigued, the group uploaded the video to YouTube, asking whether the creature might be a Sasquatch. The clip spread quickly, gaining attention across the social media and catching the interest of newspapers both in the United States and abroad. Headlines speculated that the hikers had stumbled upon potential Bigfoot evidence, fueling discussions among curious viewers. But the mystery was short-lived. Wildlife specialists eventually examined the video and confirmed that the creature was simply a North American porcupine. Seen from a distance, especially in dense forest, its size, silhouette, and dark coloration can easily mislead the eye, turning an ordinary animal into what briefly seemed like something far more extraordinary. A drive through Provo Canyon took an unexpected turn when something unusual appeared in the trees.
Around this corner, I think. Like right here somewhere. Oh, look, right there. Stop, back up.
As the car wound its way along the narrow road near Sundance, Utah, the passengers noticed movement just off the shoulder. The driver turned back for another pass, hoping to confirm what they thought they saw. As the vehicle approached the spot a second time, tension rose. The forest was dense, the light fading, and every shadow seemed sharper than before.
Crap, where'd it go? He was huge. He scared him off.
Suddenly, a dark figure came into view, large, upright, and motionless between the branches. Within seconds, it slipped back into the trees, disappearing as quickly as it had appeared. They reversed the car to regain sight of the area, but the figure was gone, leaving behind only stillness and the unsettling feeling that something had been watching them. A man was gathering firewood near his barn when he spotted a dark speck in the distance. Curious, he zoomed in with his phone and immediately froze. A tall, dark figure was standing at the tree line, its arms unusually long and hanging low. The moment it seemed to notice him, it slipped behind a tree. Then a smaller shape appeared beside it, lingering for just a moment before slowly fading back into the forest. The taller figure glanced over its shoulder one last time before disappearing as well. No one can say for certain what the man witnessed that day, but most who've seen the footage agree whatever it was, it didn't look human. In a startling claim, Bigfoot researcher Charles Snake Stewart says he uncovered something remarkable in the Adirondack Mountains, a supposed Bigfoot specimen he calls Dak. According to Stewart, the creature stood around 8 feet tall, covered in dense brown hair, with a heavily built human-like frame. Its face reportedly carried a blend of ape and human traits, a pronounced brow ridge, a wide jaw, and deep-set eyes. The cause of death, he says, was a mystery, with no visible injuries or signs of trauma. Stewart's own biological tests suggested the creature was an omnivore, consuming both plants and meat, and may have scavenged as well. He also claimed the thick, naturally patterned hair would have made it nearly impossible to spot in the wilderness. For Stewart, the find could represent the discovery of a lifetime, but whether this is genuine evidence of Bigfoot or just another elaborate hoax remains an unanswered question. An explorer headed into the forest for what was supposed to be a simple daytime hike, completely unaware of the shock waiting ahead.
Oh, there he goes.
Oh, there he goes. Everything felt peaceful at first as he walked beneath the tall trees, taking in the quiet scenery. Then, without warning, a tall, dark figure appeared farther up the trail, moving slowly through the woods. The explorer froze where he stood, staring in disbelief and fear. The mysterious figure continued on its path, slipping deeper into the thick forest, and leaving behind nothing but confusion, shock, and a flood of unanswered questions. Two hikers at Mount St. Helens spotted a strange creature moving across a grassy clearing. At first, they assumed it was a bear, but as they snapped photos, it became clear it didn't resemble one at all. The figure walked upright at a slow pace, leaning forward, and showed no reaction to their presence. When they zoomed in, its face appeared partly hairless, almost human, more like an ape. Some people dismissed it as fake or a person in a suit, while others pointed to the gray patches of hair and the creature's frail build, suggesting it might have been an older Bigfoot. That could explain why it seemed so unfazed by the hikers. The sighting occurred near Ape Canyon, a place famous for Bigfoot legends dating back to 1924. When miners claimed they were attacked by ape-like beings hurling rocks at their cabin. In the 1970s and 1980s, additional stories surfaced about mysterious bodies and skeletal remains found in the Mount St. Helens area. Local searchers reported discovering partially decomposed, human-shaped remains with odd proportions speculated by some researchers to be Bigfoot. Though none of these discoveries were ever formally proven, they fueled decades of speculation and cemented the mountain's reputation as a Bigfoot hotspot. Suddenly, these photos don't seem quite so impossible.
While reviewing his trail cam footage, the man noticed something unusual. The video first shows a black bear, nothing out of the ordinary, until a much larger creature steps into view beside it, making the bear look surprisingly small. The bigger animal has long, heavy, hanging fur and a rounded build, almost resembling a domestic yak, sometimes referred to as hairy cattle or a grunting ox, but the behavior didn't add up. Bears don't typically follow yaks, which led many people to question whether the larger creature was a yak at all, or if the camera had captured something entirely unknown.
A man living alone in a remote cabin deep in the woods never expected to encounter something he couldn't explain. One night, his two enormous English mastiffs suddenly sprinted toward the patio door, frantically trying to get inside something that immediately alarmed him since those dogs were never scared of anything. Feeling uneasy, he stepped outside with a flashlight and aimed the beam toward the tree line. What he saw made his heart race.
There it is again. That mother, whatever it is. There that is. It's two forward-facing eyeballs that are just staring right the at it. It's turning its head. Hey, are you gonna do anything about this mother whatever it is up here? You scared too? Huh? What are you guys scared about? Why don't you go outside? Jesus, where'd that thing go? It's still up there. Move! There it is. It looked right at me. I see it turned its head again. You know, I see these Bigfoot videos and they got the grainy, and then I always wonder, why don't they just go running at it? But it's dark up in that hill, and I ain't going. And if the dogs won't go outside.
pair of forward-facing eyes shone back at him from the darkness positioned several feet off the ground, unmoving and locked onto him. As he watched, the head shifted slightly, confirming that something large was out there. He tried to coax his dogs back outside, but even they refused to approach the yard. When he looked again, the glowing eyes had shifted position, still staring down from a height of about 7 to 8 feet. There were no branches, rocks, or ledges that could have supported an animal at that height. Whatever stood out there was tall, silent, and unsettlingly still. In that moment, he understood why people in Bigfoot videos never run toward what they see. The woods were pitch black, the hillside offered no safety, and even his fearless guard dogs wanted no part of whatever was waiting out there. During Axial Fest 2017 at the Cisco Grove campground, a routine gathering took an unexpected turn. A small group was enjoying the annual RC event when sudden movement in the brush caught their attention. A large, shadowy figure shifted within the dense vegetation nearby, its presence unmistakable and unsettling. Without hesitation,
What was that?
they grabbed a camera and moved toward the spot, but the figure slipped deeper into the trees before they could get a clear look. All that remained were rustling leaves and a string of unanswered, eerie questions. A group of friends were hiking near the White Mountains, close to a reservation, when they came across something unusual along an old irrigation route.
There's a lot of markings here. There's this one, and there's one legit right next to it. And over here, as you can see, that's like a tent spike. And then there's this, and then look, this is like the perfect chill spot.
At first, what they saw looked like a simple pile of rocks, but as they examined it more closely, they realized the stones had been deliberately stacked in arrangement often associated with reported Bigfoot activity. As they continued climbing, they discovered several thick clumps of hair tangled in a cactus near the high point of the irrigation system.
Okay, we're at the top of the irrigation. The high point, as you can see as you look around, and there's this on this fucking cactus. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? What kind of hair is that? There's like 3 different kinds of hair on.
Hair wasn't right there.
There's like
darker, lighter, a little bit of white.
What the fuck?
Legit. While coming up this way, trail right here, and then like off that way behind is where the corners road to the build.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
The strands were coarse, mixed with both dark and light colors, and didn't resemble any animal fur they were familiar with. Despite finding the hair in such an unexpected place, the group left it behind, raising the lingering question of why they never brought it back for testing. A home security camera in East Texas recorded a tall figure moving behind a backyard fence. When the clip was shared online, some viewers argued it resembled a Bigfoot-like silhouette. Others insisted it was simply a person walking behind the fence with the lighting creating an elongated shadow. No definitive evidence has ever been found, but the homeowner maintains that whatever appeared on the footage didn't match any of their neighbors. To them, the figure looked like Bigfoot. A routine walk through the forest takes a frightening turn when something unusual appears on the path ahead. Deep in the woods, the person suddenly stops.
Here it comes. What the hell is that? Holy shit, man, that's not a bear. Let's get the hell out of here. Close the door, please. I'm gonna get out of here. That's not a bear.
Realizing there's something large up ahead. They raise their phone and zoom in carefully. Sitting on the ground is a massive, dark figure, its bulk partly hidden behind a tree. As the camera zooms closer, the outline becomes clearer, and the creature remains completely still. Its sheer presence is unsettling enough to send a wave of panic through the person filming. Overwhelmed with fear, they decide to run, leaving the eerie sight behind. Some now wonder if this moment captured real evidence Bigfoot quietly lurking in the wild. A powered glider was soaring over a remote mountain ridge when the pilot noticed something he could hardly believe. His camera picked up a tall, dark figure moving along the very top of the ridge. What stood out most were its arms, long swinging and far too out of proportion to belong to a human, a trait mentioned in countless Bigfoot reports. The glider drifted uncomfortably close before the pilot pulled away and continued his flight. Only after landing did he review the footage, and that's when the chilling realization set in. He explained that it would be nearly impossible for any person to walk along that ridge at all, which means whatever he captured up there might be one of the rare, genuine Bigfoot sightings ever recorded. While driving through a dense forest in Utah, two men rounded a bend and caught sight of something enormous standing between the trees. It looked far too large and too dark to be any normal animal, and it vanished the second their vehicle came around the corner. Curious, they pulled over to look around.
Here's the footprint. We've got it casted. Here's the stride. It's a 6-foot stride. What was it, Brody? 70 inches? 72 inches was the stride. And there's the other print. We're not casting this one. The toes aren't as definitive. But this footprint over here was so fresh that the vegetation, and we already filmed it and took pictures, but the vegetation underneath the print are still pressed down, and it had great toes. We overfilled it like you're supposed to. Almost 19 inches long in length from heel to toe. It's about 8.5 inches wide, and we're really excited. This is the biggest footprint that we've ever seen. This is a very active spot. We come from that direction. That storm's rolling in, it's picking up. It's a real soft, squatchy area. It's very squatchy. A lot of food sources: elderberries, Oregon grape, raspberries, strawberries, huckleberry. Here's the 72-inch stride of what has to be just a massive male that's moved into the area.
And that's when they found the tracks. One footprint was clear enough to cast, and the stride measured nearly 6 feet, about 70 to 72 inches between steps. Another print nearby wasn't cast because the toes weren't as defined, but the freshest one still had the vegetation beneath it, completely pressed down, showing how recent it was. The cast revealed a track almost 19 inches long from heel to toe, and roughly 8.5 inches wide, making it the largest footprint they had ever seen. As they scanned the area, they noted how active the spot felt. Dense cover storm clouds moving in, and abundant food sources like elderberries, Oregon, grapes, raspberries, strawberries, and huckleberries. A stride of 70 to 72 inches suggested something massive, likely a large male, moving through the region. With giant fresh prints nearly 19 inches long and 9 inches wide stamped into the dirt, the men couldn't help but wonder whether these tracks belonged to the same towering figure they saw moments earlier. Back in 1994, researcher Matt Moneymaker captured a strange, echoing moan howl in Columbiana County, Ohio, not far from the Ohio River. The sound rolled through the nighttime forest, deep and resonant. When analysts studied the recording, they noted an unusual feature in the spectrogram, an attenuated fundamental atonal pattern some believe is characteristic of Sasquatch vocalizations. Listeners also pointed out a faint second howl in the distance, almost as if another creature responded. The recording, later labeled the Ohio Howl, went on to become one of the most debated and enigmatic pieces of Bigfoot audio ever documented. On October 13th, 2025 tourists on a guided jungle tour in the Amazon captured footage of something unexpected. As their camera swept across the trees,
Wait, hold on.
I'm zooming. It's huge.
Keep the camera on it. Oh, it's moving. It's going deeper.
I got it.
a massive figure briefly appeared between the foliage, tall, dark, and disturbingly human-like for something that moved like an ape. Within seconds, it slipped deeper into the rainforest and disappeared completely. When the clip was posted online, opinions split immediately. Some dismissed it as staged, while others argued it might be genuine evidence of an unknown species. For centuries, Amazon tribes have spoken of the Mapinguari, a towering, red-haired creature said to roam the most remote parts of the forest. Hunters and explorers have long reported strange footprints and eerie howls echoing through the canopy. Whatever the tourists filmed that day remains a mystery, leaving many to wonder if they captured the legendary creature itself. A farmer was inspecting their cornfield in broad daylight when unexpected movement drew their eyes across the rows. Between the tall stalks, the rustling grew louder, until a dark, towering figure slowly emerged in the center of the field. Its massive silhouette rising against the golden crops sent a cold shiver through the air. Frozen in disbelief, the farmer watched as the mysterious shape stood motionless for a moment before silently blending back into the corn. Its size stillness and the way it vanished so effortlessly left only one unsettling question: was this a normal animal, or a rare glimpse of the elusive Bigfoot? In 2013, a YouTube user named Wargun uploaded a brief but intriguing clip.
Look at that! Oh my gosh! Where'd it go? Come on, camera, focus. It's gone. Wait. There it is! There it goes. Oh my goodness!
Showing a dark figure moving through the trees before vanishing from sight. After stabilization by Adam B., the footage spread quickly across the internet. Some viewers noted that the creature's stride seemed similar to the famous Patterson-Gimlin footage, while others dismissed it as nothing more than a person in a costume, pointing out that the reactions behind the camera didn't feel entirely convincing. To this day, the clip remains debated, either an overlooked piece of Bigfoot evidence or simply another viral hoax, depending on who you ask. Residents of Sunchild Reserve have been hearing unsettling sounds echoing from deep within the forest this spring. The noises often erupt around 3 in the morning, long, loud, and impossible to identify. Some believe they might come from wolves or bobcats, but others insist the sounds are far too strange to belong to any animal they know. Old stories from the 1970s speak of unusual footprints, once found in the very same area, prints that were never explained. Now, many wonder if whatever created them has returned. No one has seen the creature responsible, but everyone has heard it and the entire community has been left on edge. A farmer in Buenos Aires, Argentina was outside on his property when he noticed something or someone moving across his land. Stunned, he pulled out his phone and began recording.
Ay, boludo, qué raro. Va como muy rápido. Va como muy rápido.
According to him, no one should have been out there. There were no nearby farms, no hikers, and no reason for anyone to be wandering that far from the road. Moments later, the distant figure appeared again, moving quickly across the open ground. Some believe the footage may show a Bigfoot-like creature, though the distance makes it nearly impossible to confirm. Still, whatever it was, the farmer insists it could not have been a person. Hikers in Squamish captured something unusual moving across a glacier.
Are we all seeing the same thing?
Yeah! Yo!
After reaching the top of Panorama Ridge near Black Tusk Mountain, they scanned the breathtaking landscape below. In the distance, a dark figure could be seen making its way down the glacier.
Well, what's over there?
Dude, but the way it's...
Steadily navigating the rugged, icy terrain. They continued watching as the figure crossed the frozen slopes, its posture and movement noticeably different from any typical hiker. The way it traveled across the glacier seemed almost unnatural, too fluid, too controlled for such harsh ground. The sight left many wondering, was this just a lone mountaineer in an odd position, or could it have been a Sasquatch silently crossing the wilderness? Jenny and Kelly found unusually large footprints near a swamp close to Marsh Peak during their next trip. Not long after Duke and Kelly came across similar tracks again, each one shaped unmistakably like an oversized human foot. They didn't claim it was Bigfoot, but the size and form were difficult to dismiss. Later, while reviewing their footage from that day, they noticed something unsettling in a still frame, a faint figure appearing to peek from the tree line. The same shape also seemed to appear briefly in the video itself. Paired with the tracks and every other clue they uncovered that day, the discovery left them wondering whether they had captured something real.
That's it for tonight. Which moment creeped you out the most? Drop it in the comments. Have your own story? Share it with us, and stay tuned. The next one is even darker.